Josh and Bill here with another update on Project 5030. As you can see, we've been busy. We've got the engine installed in the car. Basically, we wanted to wait on the car to start setting the suspension up.
Speaking of the suspension, this is probably the first time you've seen Project 5030 on the ground. We got our custom Curry axles installed, put a set of wheels and tires on it, so we can actually start working on our ride height. Speaking of the ride height, we have Josh from Ridetech here in our studio today. He came in to give us a hand getting the suspension set up and working properly. Josh, thanks for coming.
Thanks for having me.
Let's get started. We have the components for our Ridetech system mocked up in the back of our 5030 to get an idea where everything's going to go once it's finished. Josh, you can explain the system we're using and how the parts are going to work.
What we're working with here is our Ridetech Ride Pro Digital system. This right here is the normal display that you would use to control the system. We also have an option to use your iPhone or Android system. What we have here is your compressor. That right there is going to pump the air into the tank, which will hold it in reserve. Basically, you need the more air in reserve to lift and lower the car.
There are different size pumps and different size tanks available for different size vehicles, I'm assuming?
Correct. We have two different options. On most systems, we use the standard 3-gallon system. It's just kind of the basic unit. On the 5-gallon systems, we use those on the heavier vehicles. We have an option for a larger tank, and we would use 2 compressors on that system.
Okay, but for what we're doing here, the 3-gallon tank should be more than adequate.
Right. It's not a very heavy car, so it's going to have no problem lifting.
Okay, so how does the system work? Obviously we're going to put power to the pump. That's going to put air into the tank, and then it goes out to this valve block over here?
Correct, yeah. The air will leave the compressor. Once it leaves there, it will go to the tank. It will store it in reserve. Whenever you're ready to raise the car, it's going to send the air to the valve block, and then the valve block distributes it to the airbag.
So there's 4 basically separate air lines that come off that valve block and go to each of our shock lines.
That's correct. Having the independent system, it keeps the car really stable driving on the road.
Okay, start hooking it up.
Let's go.
All right, Josh, explain to me the wiring, where everything's going to go for the system.
All right, so for this system, you have your power harness and you have your valve harness. Basically, these right here just plug directly into the ECU. One goes directly to your valve block. You're going to have the harnesses wherever you locate the valve block.
Okay.
As for the compressor harness, you're going to have the option to run 2 compressors. Now on this car, we're only running 1. So we're going to remove one of these harnesses right here.
So we just cut it away and just not use it?
Correct.
Okay. And then what are the, so basically it looks like then I just need a couple power connections, a couple grounds, and we're basically hook up the lines, we're good to go, right?
Correct.
Great, sounds good. Let's get that harness cut out and let's start fishing our power wires. Now we're going to plug in the compressor. When you actually mount the system in the car for good, you want to make sure you actually mount everything in the car permanently. In our case, we're just mocking it up. We want to make sure the suspension works before the car goes to the paint shop. All right, Josh, explain what's going on over here with the valve block.
All right, so right here we're going to plug in our front and rear valve harnesses.
So they are specific?
They're correct.
Okay.
You're going to want to run your, this right here is your front valve harness, and you're going to want to run your air lines to the front.
Okay.
Off those solenoids.
And the harnesses then are labeled so you know which one goes where?
Correct, yes, they're color coded.
So they're front back specific, and I'm assuming left right specific as well, since the controller will control all 4 individually?
Correct. Yeah, you're going to have your left solenoid, your right solenoid for the front and rear. It's going to have your inflates on one side and your deflates on the other.
Okay. What is that harness right there for?
Which one?
The one laying next to the valve block.
It's right here. These are for your pressure sensors.
Okay.
These plug in right here on your pressure sensors.
Okay.
Right there is what shows your readings on your display.
Okay, so once you plug them in and the 2 harnesses you plugged in plus the compressor, pretty much we run power to the system and it's hooked up.
That's correct.
With the exception of the airlines.
That's right. Power.
Seems pretty easy.
And that's it.
Excellent. Let's get the airlines cut. All the Ridetech systems include 60 feet of airline as well as a selection of right angle as well as straight fittings. Josh, I'm going to show you how the fittings go on. It couldn't be easier.
Basically, it's just a DOT approved quick connect fitting. All you do is cut your tubing to length, slide the fitting on, and this right here locks into place. Just pull on it like that and it's ready to go. All right, so right here we've got everything hooked up the way it should be. The compressors are now filling the tank. Right now you can see we're about 37 PSI. We're going to try raising the car up here in a little bit once we get the tank shut off.
Here you can see the downloadable app that controls the system. You can see the tank PSI on the controller, exactly the same as what's showing on my phone. Our Ridetech system works great. It's perfect for a custom build like our 5030. What other models is that system available for?
Basically, you know, we have a lot of universal pieces we can use. Virtually any Mustang out there, though, we can find something for.
Cool, and the new 15, I'm assuming you'll have something as soon as they're available?
I'm hoping so, you know, as soon as we get our hands on one.
Cool, cool. This is probably the last time you're gonna see Project 5030 looking like this. Now that we got the engine fitted, the suspension's done, the next step is gonna be a paint job. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for more updates on Project 5030.